Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class. Our textbook is Week 2, and today inshallah we will cover Unit 3. My Day, Animals, Places, Picture Dictionary on page 32. It will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Quick revision in our last phonics practice. In our last phonics practice, we had this interesting exercise where we asked you to look at the map in front of you that you can see on the page and then try to read this text after. And when you do this, you need to write down the missing places from 1 up to 10. So here, as you can see on the map or the town map you have in front of you, you will see different places. And between each of these places are numbered. So for example, 2, which is a place of a bookstore. And also 4 is a place of a supermarket. So what we need to do is, first we're going to read this text. And after we read this text, we need to write down the name of the place here in each of these blanks or in each of these missing blanks. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to read the text, and after we're reading the text, we'll remind ourselves by looking at the page, we'll remind ourselves with the what are the places that we should write here. So, what we're going to do now is that we're going to divide the text into 2 parts. The first part is when we say about the 4, when we talk about the first 5 places, okay? And the second part when we talk about the places from the number 6 up to number 10. So now let's read the text, and after reading the text we can decide, we can think of the places that we should write here. So let's begin. Listen, find and write and try to practice it in pairs. So let's start. There is a restaurant on the corner next to the bookstore. So here, the first place we're going to use, or the first place we're going to write. Let's read the first sentence again. There is a restaurant on the corner next to the bookstore. So here we're talking about there is a bookstore and a restaurant. First, what we need to do is to look for these 2 places. Do we have them here? Here we have only number 2, which is a bookstore. So let's read the sentence again and see what is next to the bookstore. Next to the bookstore, there is a restaurant. There is a restaurant. So here we go to number 1 and we write a restaurant, a restaurant. And before we do this, we can also look at the map, at the town map we have in front of us. Can you see there is a restaurant next to the bookstore? Can you see there is a restaurant next to a bookstore? If you can see it, then here you need to write down a restaurant, because here it says next to. This is the first preposition we have read in this text. Now, when we agree, number 1 is a restaurant, number 2 is a bookstore, let's continue. There is a train station opposite the supermarket. There is a train station opposite the supermarket. So here we have 2 places. The first one is a supermarket and the second one is a train station. So we said that there is a train station opposite of a supermarket. opposite of a supermarket. So here we can use this information and to look for either a train station or a supermarket. Here, can you see a train station or a supermarket? We can. Number 4 is a supermarket. So, what do you think number 3 should be? It should be, or we should use or talk about a train station. A train station. So here we go and we write number 3 is a train station. Number 3 is a train station. Now let's continue so we can know what is the place in number 5. There is a gym between the supermarket and the bus station. There is a gym between the supermarket and the bus station. So here we can see on our book that we talk about 3 places: a gym, a supermarket, and a bus station. So can we see these places here? Of course we can. We can see that number 4 is a supermarket and number 6 is a bus station. So this will leave us with only one place, which is a gym. A gym. So here we go. This is how we answer the first part. So here we did write a gym because it says here that there is a gym between 2 places, the supermarket and the bus station. So here we have a bus station and here we have a supermarket, and what is between these 2 places is a gym. So number 5 here is a gym. Now let us move on to the second one. Here, the second part, we have information already existed, which is that number 6 is a bus station and the number 7 is a museum. Let's continue to read so we can figure out what are the remaining 2 places. So, there is a post office between the museum and the school. There is a post office between the museum and the school. So, if you can have a look at your books, and you can see that on the town map, there is a museum and there is a school. So, according to the text we have read, what is between them? A school and a museum. What is between them? Well, between them there is a post office. So here we go to number 8 and we write post office. We write post office. And then we'll leave with the last one, which is number 10. Let's read it, continue the text, and then we will know what the answer is. There is a park near the supermarket. There is a park near the supermarket. So here with the last place, which is a park. Why we said park? Because we already wrote supermarket in number 4. So it says here that in number 10 there is a park. There is a park. So here you go. This is how we can use the town map, and also this is how we can use this text so we can know what are these places. So quick reminder of the answers. We have here number 1 is restaurant, number 2 bookstore, number 3 train station, number 4 supermarket, number 5 gym, number 6 bus station, number 7 museum, number 8 post office, number 9 school, and number 10 a park. So not only this, But also during this text we had or we did read some of the important prepositions that can help us sometimes when we are describing a place. And these prepositions are, for example, the first one is next to, next to. And also we have opposite. And also we have between, and we have near. So here we have 4 important prepositions we can use when we are describing places. For example, when we are using next to, which means side by side, that this place is next to this place. Also, when we use opposite, which means that this place is on a side and the other place on the other side. Opposite. This is what you mean by opposite. And the same goes with between. So, for example, if there are 2 places, we're talking here or using between to talk about the place in the middle, between 2 places. And the last one is near. For example, here we have a place, and near to this place, not far, but near to this place is the other place. So these are very important 4 prepositions that we use when we want to talk about places. And after this, we said that you can have a look at the things you have on your page, the pictures, and then you can answer these sentences. For example, listen, read, and circle T or F. The first one, there is a table between the sofa and the armchair. So can you see that there is a table between the sofa and the armchair? The answer is T, which is true. Yes, we can see there is a table between the sofa and the armchair. So here we go, and we circle letter T. We circle letter T. And what about the second one? There is a rug behind the bed. So can you see behind the bed there is a rug or next to it? It is, of course, next to it. So here we write F because this is not true. And then number 3, there is a table opposite of the fridge and the stove. So you can see the fridge and the stove. What is the opposite of them? Can you see a table? The answer is true. So here we do circle the letter T. So this is how we can have a look at these pictures, and then we can come up with questions, true, false questions. And you can practice it in pairs, and you can write your own sentence. You can have a look at the picture and ask about anything, about the windows, about the TV, and you can use between, behind, opposite, all of these prepositions that will help you in your questions. So now let's get to know our objectives in today's lesson in the picture dictionary lesson that we would like you to practice and memorize words with their meaning. So let's have a look at a couple of these words, but first turn to page 32. Now on page 32, the picture dictionary, the first thing we're going to talk about is the preposition on that you can see on page 6. And what do you mean by preposition? On, when something is on top of something. Like this apple, for example, it is on the box, on the box. The second word we have is paper. Paper that we use for writing, and sometimes we use for printing. You can see the word paper on page 12. On page 12. And next we have pencils. Pencils are the kind we use when we want to draw something, for example, or if we want to write something in order to erase later on. So this is why we use pencils. Pencils that can be seen on page 12. The same goes with the other word, which are pens. Pens, we mean the pens that we use when we write our homework or when we are writing something. We usually use pens, and we can see this picture on page 12. And next we have a person who opening a book, and what is he doing? He is reading. He is reading. So there is another word, which is read, that we can see on page 24. And after this, we have the word scissors. Scissors, where we use these scissors when we want to cut paper, sometimes to cut rope, and sometimes we cut hair. So we have different uses for scissors, and that can be seen on page 12. And after this, we have sheep. A sheep, which is an animal. Sheep is an animal that this word can be seen on page 24. And after this, we have another word, which is about an activity that we do every night, which is sleep. Sleep. And this word can be seen on page 24. And then we have table. Table is this kind, a table that we use at home or in class when we write and do our homeworks on, that can be seen on page 6. And then we have another preposition, which is under. So here we have an apple that is under the box, that can be seen on page 6. And then we have a wallet, where we keep our money, we keep our cards, usually put in this wallet, that can be seen on page 14. And also on page 14, we can we read this word, which is watch. A watch, where we can use it to look for time and also to know what time is. So at the end, it is important that we can practice and memorize some of these words with their meaning. So now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.